Hi, Mila. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today. TikTok has been becoming a growing news source, and based on a recent Pew study research, I really wanted to get your perspective as someone who worked at the Daily Line on how students get their news and how TikTok really fits into that. So, have you noticed kind of students or your friends' news habits changing over the past few years?
Yes, I think for sure your mention of TikTok I think is really relevant. I find myself in a lot of my friends and even the people I work with at Daily Illini, our first kind of our source of information does come from TikTok. So yeah, I think that's really relevant.
Yeah, and Pew's data research shows that over 43% of adults under 30 now get their news on TikTok, which is really up from 9% in 2020. So, from your perspective, why do you think that TikTok has become such a popular news source for younger audiences?
I think in general, just like its accessibility, I think most people have a TikTok account. So in that sense, and I think also a lot of people spend time on TikTok also. So I think that has a lot to do with it. Mhm.
And how does the Daily Illini, do you think, approach platforms like TikTok or Instagram? Like, do you see them as tools for promoting your stories, or do you think that they hold a place where students can now consume their news on there?
I think that the Daily Illini for sure does try and utilize TikTok and Instagram, especially Instagram, especially with really urgent activities that are happening on campus. We make sure to kind of utilize those to make sure that the students are updated. But also, we try to use them for promoting stories and stuff like that. But mostly local in the sense, not as much world kind of stories.
100%. And do you think that there are advantages or disadvantages of students who use TikTok for their main source of news?
Yeah, I think the two of the main kind of downsides of using TikTok for news is there's a lot of information on there, obviously, I think with any social media platform, not just TikTok. But also because the TikTok algorithm is so specified for a person and their interest and kind of what TikTok thinks they like to view. I think there's can also be a lot of pigeonholing in TikTok and especially with news. So I think those are for sure downsides, but also advantages. Like I kind of mentioned, there's a real accessibility with TikTok just because it's there and people are always on it. So.
Yeah, and do you think that a lot of like student-run outlets like the Daily Illini can even compete with how fast TikTok delivers information, or is your goal to kind of just be a source for the students?
I think, especially for Daily Illini, it's just kind of a source for students, especially with what we publish and the kind of content that we kind of prioritize, especially with stuff that's going on campus with the local Champaign-Urbana community. And I think part of that is because there's a hesitation of whether or not we can compete with, I guess, outlets like TikTok. So ensuring that we're kind of doing our mission of being for the Illini and for the Champaign-Urbana community.
Yeah, and is there any advice or I guess caution you would give to students who mostly rely on TikTok for news?
Yeah, I would say maybe find another source, find another article if it's like about something like something that happened, maybe a good Google search, find other articles, see what everyone else is saying about what you just saw.
Thank you so much for doing this interview. It's given me a lot of great insight about how even student journalism interacts with a lot of the changing media habits. So is it okay if you just, introduce yourself for the voice memo, your name, your year at UIUC, and when you were at the Daily Illini?
Yeah, my name is Mila. I'm a junior and I was at the Daily Illini my freshman year.
Thank you so much.